Hi everyone, welcome to Ami TV show. We wish you a happy new year. Okay, welcome to 2024. So we are here again with our life story. Yes. So let's go. Boyfriend abandoned me with pregnancy despite my blindness. So George is the one telling this story of how a visually impaired 31-year-old single mom from Benue State, Agnes Jackson, was allegedly impregnated and abandoned by her lover in Lagos and her struggling for survival. Since when her parents' marriage packed her when she was around 3 years old, she has had to fend for herself. Then in her hometown in Igede, Oju local government area of Benue State, where Agnes lived, she took up All's job to fend for herself. She had earlier stopped schooling for lack of funds long before her parents' marriage crashed. According to her, the earliest memory she had of school was when she graduated from nursery school. Yeah. I never entered primary one for one day. I stepped in nursery school. I am not even sure I attended my own graduation ceremony for nursery school. Our poverty was that bad. All we longed for was to eat and stay alive to eat again the next day. Schooling was out of the picture of my parents, who were mostly petty farmers. The English I speak now, I picked it up when I began to hustle to make ends meet, Agnes said. She was a living maid for a wealthy household for some years before she became a kitchen assistant for a popular caterer for some months. She fetched firewood, water, and assisted in serving guests during the various events her boss had. While she did all that, she would in the evening visit the household where she worked part-time as a cleaner to clear out dirty clothes, do the dishes, and tend to her boss' kids. It was an unending cycle for her, but giving up would be an invitation to poverty, so she held on with every last string of hope. Both her family and mother remarried, and she had to live with her father and his new wife. Agnes said it was hell on earth for her, although she said she made sure to be in the good books of her stepmom. The woman, according to her, made life difficult for her. She was already overworking herself with doing two heavily tasking jobs. The least help she needed was a serene atmosphere for her to lay her head when she came back, but she said that was a mission impossible. If her parents were not fighting, her stepmom was on her neck for forgetting a plate unwashed or leaving the house too early for her work. As a teenager, Agnes was gasping for a breath of fresh air, which she thought she found in the arms of a 22-year-old boy, Andrew. Surname withheld. So he showered her with love, concern, and affection. She was only 17 years then. Meeting Andrew was a dream come true for her. It would go. I would. She said I would go to his house in between jobs, and we would spend time together, talk about the future and how our lives would change when we leave the village. He gave me everything I needed from the little he earned from the menial jobs he did. He promised to marry me, and I was already envisioning a future with him. I even used to spend some nights with him. His mother knew very well that her son was with me, she said. Now, let's talk about her pregnancy at 17. After a few months of her relationship with Andrew, she found out that she had conceived. She said fear gripped her because she was only 17 and did not know what to tell her parents, whom she knew would beat her. She considered abortion, but the many risks involved made the thoughts die instantly. She opted to tell Andrew, whom she said expressed surprise that a small boy like him could get her pregnant. Weeks after much struggle, Andrew told Agnes it was time to make it official. The both were going to get married. He informed Agnes people who at first were mad at him but with no option gave their daughter to him till she would give birth when they would reassess the situation. He took Agnes to his mother and they both began to live together as husband and wife. With every passing day, the suffering they faced grew. Agnes could no longer do two jobs, so she was stuck with just her regular part-time cleaning, but the pay was very poor. I thought I was suffering before my pregnancy, but when I got pregnant, I knew truly that kakino be leather. There were days I went without any food. I would drink water and eat any fruit I could find. This is Agnes talking. Oh. Since my parents were not really happy with me, begging them for food was out of the option. As for Andrew, he became something else. He changed completely, she said. Agnes says she could not wait to give birth so she could go back to her work and begin to fend for herself again. She says she and Andrew's mom began to have issues since she lived in their family house. If it was not for her sleeping too much, it was her waking up too early to disturb the entire neighborhood with her kitchen noise. Agnes said it became unbearable that she had to report to her boyfriend, who asked her to endure, adding that there was nothing they could do since they lived under the same roof with the woman. Agnes gave birth to a baby girl, Jessica, now 13, at a local health care facility in the area. After being in labor for hours and losing all the strength she had, Agnes said it was a miracle she and her child made it alive without undergoing any cesarean section. So they cut the whole story short. So they started the court and all that. So they now had to reach a conclusion that if he says that the pregnancy is not his, he has to prove it. DNA can be arranged between both parties, but before all that is done, the infant has to be taken good care of. Yes, the government and well-meaning Nigerians have to come into this matter and make sure that this lady is given a better life. She has suffered many woes, and she added. So I want to stop here because it's a long story, but at least she got some help. The church are there to help her, and now they took the matter to what? To human rights, where they are now into this matter fully to make sure that the young man will do his job. And now my question is, how can you see a woman in her state, a blind woman who has a child, a 13-year-old girl who is not even working? Okay, let's say later she started working. You took advantage of her being blind, impregnated her, and then you ran away. You started saying that